Hey guys, back from our partial week off here in the Rock Life Studios. Brian Dunnigan, Dan Carter's back with us. What's up, buddy?
What's happening?
Guys, don't forget, go to rocklifeoffroad.com or rockliferacing.com. Use code OUTTHETOP to get at least 10% off of your entire purchase. Some exclusions do apply. I'm just going to forewarn everybody. This may be the worst, maybe the best episode we've ever had. I've been hydrating since about 6 o'clock. It's now 9. We're just going to see how it goes. It's been one of those days, one of those weeks.
So sometimes you got to have a trail soda at home.
Does you give a damn ever just get busted?
Oh man, I totally know where you're coming from.
Mine has been busted today for whatever reason. Just a few little things going on here and there and yonder, and being a business owner, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, I know most of the people who listen to this probably are. I think you're all crazy.
Oh, for sure.
If it wasn't for the fact of getting to come to the races, because I know some of our guys work jobs, like jobs, and they have to put in vacation and do all that stuff, and they still manage and make it work. But
Right.
if it wasn't for that, no.
Well, I'm glad you talked about that because that does, like, guys, put in the comments if you're self-employed what you do for a living, because I feel like being self-employed, your mind is wired a little bit differently
Yes.
than those that aren't. And I did a job for a guy earlier last week, and he was in the same business that I'm in, but he worked for another gentleman that they went out of business. But I was like, man, why didn't you ever go out on your own, or what? You ever had any aspirations to do anything like that? And he said, I like the fact that when it come 5 o'clock, that's my time. I shut down and I don't think about anything other than what I want to think about. But being like a self-employed or entrepreneur,
It
it's
never
always
quits.
it never do you shut down. You're always got your wheels working.
Never quits. And I understand that's what you sign up for. Especially me. I mean, I'm and me, no, I shouldn't say especially me, no more than anybody else, but where we are at the shop, there's only 2 of us. So we run a skeleton crew. But that's all we need.
Right.
That's all we need. But the downside to that is if one person needs to take off or what have you, then you're there for 8 hours, answering the phones, working on machines, selling parts, doing all this stuff. And, yeah. And your phone never quits from 7 a.m. to, I get messages 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And they're all like, hey, buddy, you don't have to respond right now, but I'm like, well, you could have just waited. But
Right. Well, I think that people, and I get those too. It's like, hey, I know it's the weekend. Sorry to bother you. Just get with me Monday. But I think a lot of people are, when it's on their mind, if they
yeah,
don't go ahead and say something about it, then it slips their mind.
I'm that way too. So I mean, I do understand most of it. It's just been one of them weeks. You know what I mean? Been one of them weeks,
Right.
one of them days that makes me question my sanity at times.
Oh, yeah.
But nevertheless, we're here. We're chugging along. So anyway, that's enough about that. Our last episode was, of course, our Business of Rock Bouncing episode with Matt Holt. Very informative.
Right.
I thought Matt did a pretty substantial job trying to lay all that stuff out for us and explain it. And in ways I think people can understand. it was just so. And I talk about this a lot on here. I know I do. The NASCAR stuff. I listen to the NASCAR podcasts, and my two favorite ones are the Dale Jr. Download, and that's where the idea for the business of rock bouncing kind of come from.
Right.
They do a similar thing, have for the last couple years, and I had no idea whatsoever that they were doing that last week. Their episode of the Business of Motorsport dropped on Wednesday. Ours was on Tuesday. I had no idea those were coming out. But that's where that idea come from. They do a really good job of explaining how NASCAR works.
Right.
And it's not that I'm copying them. It's good information. It's good stuff. And
well, you did put yours out on Tuesday. They followed theirs up on Wednesday. So
freaking cheaters. Do something original, Dale Jr. But on that same token, another one of his shows that his production company puts out is Door Bumper Clear. And it is NASCAR guys, spotters, talking about the sport. Well, you know what happens, kind of the same thing. And I thought it was also funny that on Tuesday, their show came out on Tuesday, and they spent probably 15 minutes talking about the exact same thing we had talked to Matt about previously.
Yeah.
They talked a lot about branding and how the lack of branding has hurt NASCAR probably more than people realize.
Oh, for sure.
You know, when we were young, when you turned on the TV, even a casual NASCAR fan knew who 5 or 6 or 7 of the drivers were.
Right.
They were everywhere. They were on ads on your TV, at your gas station, stand-ups, and they all drove the same car all year long. Now they have a different car every weekend. Nobody knows what color or anything, so it's hard even for the diehard fans to keep up with who's who.
Right.
But that goes into that branding that Matt spent a lot of time talking about. But it was just so coincidental to me that all of those shows talked about exactly what we were talking about.
Right.
So that tells me we're on to something.
Right. And if a series that is in a sport that is as large as NASCAR is having trouble branding, then we definitely have a trouble branding. And, if you missed out on that episode, I really encourage you to go back and listen to it because there's a lot of good pointers. And you'd actually thought about having Matt back on for kind of like a part 2, but I want you to go ahead and tell everybody the deal you made with him about finishing the hills.
So we're going to have Matt back on at some point. When is completely up to him. We laid down the challenge to Matt Holt. He gets his next invite to come back on the show, and we can either expand on that episode or we can talk about Matt, the person, the driver, the announcer. We can go either way. But Matt gets to come back on. He gets the invite if he finishes both hills in any single weekend. So it's been a while since Matt's had 2 finishes.
Yeah. And I can't remember the last race that I was at. I want to say it may have been Missouri. He finished one hill, man, and the crowd went crazy. Like you would have thought that damn Bobby Tanner showed up to a race.
Well, let's not get carried away.
As loud as everybody was cheering him on.
I was excited at Windrock. We talked about that on here. At Windrock, his buggy went through and completed course 1, and then they come by me, and it wasn't Matt. Of course, that was before I knew he broke his leg. So, yeah. Anyways, he gets to come back on if he gets 2 finishes. That may be at some point this year. Or it may be a while before you guys hear from him. We don't know. But we're rooting for my old Matt. We're trying to light a little fire under him.
Oh, for sure.
So kind of going from there. I don't know if we talked. Let's see. Did we talk? No, we didn't talk about this. So finals moved, right?
Right.
And then I don't know if we mentioned anything about there being a possible event at Windrock after the season. I can't remember if we touched on that or not.
No, we didn't. But you were telling me earlier in the week, because we had all wanted, or we were all pulling for finals to be at Windrock, and then you found out a little bit of kind of behind the scenes stuff is why we're not going to have anything at Windrock, but how we could possibly be having a non-points race later in the season after finals at Wildcat.
Yeah. So what we're doing, I guess what the plan is for everybody is the reason we didn't do finals at Windrock this year is simply the event area is not ready for it. Where we race is just not ready for that kind of weekend. We all know finals. It's crazy. If it goes back old school, it's 2 runs for every class. That's a lot of racing. There's not. I mean, it's there on that backside where we're currently running, but I don't know if it would be a great show.
Right.
So the plan is to open some of that up, and I'm going to go down. Clyde's going down. Clyde and some of the team are going down the week before our West Virginia race. They're going to spend some time down there trying to rework that area. They're going to, I think, get a dozer in there, cut some trees, move the pits around, kind of scoot the fans back a little bit, and try and get the vendors up in the event area, is my understanding. I could be in left field. But that was kind of my understanding, was to try and open all that area up and adjoin it together more so than it is. And they didn't want to commit to finals there this year without seeing the area. We know, I cannot say these parks. We know Wildcat has a perfect vendor area, has a perfect race spectator area. The hills are fine. They are going to cut some more new hills at Wildcat, but we know they can handle it.
Right.
Windrock, without doing what I suggested, which was do one day on the back, one day on the front. They want to do it all in the back, and we just want to make sure that the area is suitable. So I'm going to go down with Clyde. He's going down, going to spend Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday down there. I probably won't be able to go for the whole time, but I'm going to go try and go down on possibly Monday and Tuesday, spend some time down there and help them kind of see what's going on.
Right.
Help them move, do whatever it is I got to do. And while I'm down there, if I can convince him, if they're not too busy, too tired, too ready to go get a steak, we may try and convince him to come on, and we'll get our second episode, possibly, of the Business of Rock Bouncing done while we're down there.
For sure.
That would be a good time, because I know race weekends he's covered up, crazy busy. So we may try and pin him down there, if at all possible. No promises, but it's an idea. So anyway, I think that'll be a good time. I think the plan is to move finals around once we see if this event area. Once we see if this event area works and if the hills are suitable for finals, I think the plan is to try and maybe rotate that year to year, Wildcat Windrock.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm excited about that. Could be a good time.
Yeah, I think it would be, because Wildcat is the home park for a lot of the drivers, and then Windrock, in a sense, is also it's pretty close to a lot of the guys in Tennessee.
They're they're close.
Yeah. So
You know.
I feel like that'll kind of make everybody feel a little better than having to drive 12, 14 hours. Some guys even drive like 16 or 18 hours to Mid America. And man, when you're in the vehicle for 12 to 18 hours one way to go to finals for 3 or 4 days, oh man, that's rough. I,
Well, what burnt me out without there is having to leave on Wednesday.
yeah,
And most people may still a lot of people may still leave on Wednesday for a Wildcat, but you won't have to leave Wednesday morning.
right, yeah,
Because the majority of our guys are Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama. We got some Missouri guys. You know, all that is at least I think it is. It feels like it's closer to me to come to those parks than it would be to go out there.
right.
So anywho, I'm just that was next on our list, so we'll just get right into that. I want to talk a little bit about Mid America, but I want to state at the beginning of this, I have no actual knowledge of the things I'm about to speak about. Allegedly, these are all allegedly things that are happening. I told you that back a while that we would talk about things as they started to come out. So these are allegedly some of those things. Finals moved away from Mid America for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. I don't know the exact number. But really, why? I mean, I'm sure they had a great relationship. I didn't, but the series had a great relationship with the park. But it just seems like everything that place has touched in the last 2 years is just falling apart, free falling.
Right.
Like it's just bad. And I hate it. For myself, I mean, I'm greedy. I really don't care. But I really do hate it because I know there is a lot of people that put a lot of effort and a lot of time into that stuff for it to fold up the way it is happening.
Right.
You look at Ultra 4. When that started, 2-3 years ago, when Mid America took controlling interest of Ultra 4, and you've seen the way they were toting 53-foot trailers across the country for their vendor trailers, and they were bringing jumbotrons, and they were bringing, just catering dinners for the drivers, and like all that stuff is cool. It is cool. It makes you look big.
Right.
But it's not feasible.
Yeah. It was almost like I kind of almost want to say like fake it till you make it deal.
Well, there was a whole lot of faking going on there.
From the outside looking in, but like you said, it's all cool, to have like to try to beef your drivers up and make a big deal for your drivers that way that you could bring revenue from the fan base. But it's almost like the old saying, you never want to get too big too fast. And man, that's almost what it did. It just snowballed into something that was massive, but it wasn't a good return on the investment. So, then you started seeing stuff just fall apart.
It I don't know, the guaranteed money they were throwing out, the amount of money they were spending just unnecessarily.
Right.
I mean, listen, I've been to some Ultra 4 races. And drivers and teams may not notice it as much because they're involved. They're busy, head down, working. They see spectators and they're like, "Whoa, hey man, there's a bunch of people here."
Yeah.
Most of those are competitors.
That's right.
And if you're not drawing some spectators, it doesn't even have to be a big number, but like you'd go to some of these races, you wouldn't see anybody.
Right.
And it's not because it's bad. It was good racing. It's just hard to spectate. It's not friendly for people like that. And so you'd tote these. I mean, okay, so I mentioned their big 53-foot walk-in vendor trailer that they toted around. That was on lease.
Right.
That's for sale now from the I guess the leasing company that was leasing that to Mid-America.
Mm-hmm.
They paid 2 years lease on that trailer for what, 10 events? There's no way outside of King of Hammers, which wasn't even their event. There's no way outside of King of Hammers that trailer even made fuel bill.
Right.
Okay, that is what it is. They spent a whole lot of money. They're gone.
Right.
Their short course series. Big payouts, big guaranteed purse. Where's it at?
Right.
It's gone. And then now here we are. The park spent, I've heard rumors of, guys, all this is allegedly now. Allegedly.
Right.
The park spent upwards of $4 million on the Nitro Cross circuit.
Yeah.
One race. I know good and well that Nitro Cross did not bring in the amount of money to even pay for that course.
Right.
You said fake it till you make it. And I do think that they thought they were. I don't think they thought they were faking it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Just, hey, we've got all this money. We're just going to throw it out there and hope something sticks, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they were thinking, and once again, I know I talk about NASCAR. I know that's my thing, guys. They thought they were that.
Right.
Right out of the gate, and it's never been. It never will be. Sure, it can be more than it is.
Right.
But you've got to work into that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, like you said, anything can grow. You just got to take the time to nurture it so it will grow. And I think, man, I tell you, I feel like everything would have been A-okay if he would have just slowly grown. Because where that park started, just back in the day, was member only, free alcohol. I mean, you can get anybody to come in with free alcohol,
dude. So that was the jam out there. That was the
yep.
And but believe it or not, the spectators, the customers were even tamer then.
Yeah.
Like there was less incidents then. I don't know. It was just it was a good place, had potential. I feel like it was mismanaged. I don't know. I know. Brian, you're bashing Mid-America. That's all you ever do. Listen, I've been there. I've seen it. I see things not from. I don't see things from a spectator's point of view. Never have. Right. When I roll into a park, I look at weird shit. I look at the infrastructure. I'm like, okay, well, they're doing this. They got this. They got that. How are they paying for that?
Right.
You know, when you rolled into that park, and you've got Deputy Dog running you down for going 16 miles an hour in a 15-mile-an-hour parking lot, that is unnecessary.
Right.
You know, that's an employee that could be doing something else somewhere else. I don't know what did they spend on that pool.
Oh man, there's no telling. I I think that it went from probably like a 25,000 above ground pool to like a $250,000
Or more, probably more.
river splash pad.
Yeah.
Overnight, and it's like, that's a good idea, but make everything as friendly as it was from day one.
Well, but I'll ask you. Okay. I was only ever out there when the pool area was open one time. But I'll ask you, who was there when we were there?
As far as like when it first opened,
We were there the first weekend the pool was open and during Visions.
yeah, to me there was a lot more spectators then than there were the last Visions I went to.
There was more spectators, but I remember like being in the lazy river in the pool, and it was all people I knew.
Yeah.
You know, there were very few spectators. The racers took it over.
Yeah.
And not that that's bad. I mean, they paid to get in like everybody else did. I'm not saying don't go to the pool, guys. But, like, it just, I don't know. To me, it wasn't a spectator-friendly place. They would open up and not, this is even bad. They would open up camping and cabins to the racers first.
Right.
Then to the spectators. As a racer, I remember we were talking about, let me know as soon as they let you know about cabins and I'll get a cabin.
Right.
So that's great in that capacity. But if I'm a person coming from out of town wanting to come visit your park, the people who are actually coming there to spend money would be more important in that sense than the racers who are going to come regardless.
Right. Yeah, and there's almost a 0% chance that you would be able to obtain a cabin on a non-race weekend.
Yeah.
Or on a race weekend, I'm sorry.
Yeah, on a race weekend. I mean, it was just even I don't know. Cabins, campsites, like everything to the average person was almost gone before they were ever opened up.
Right.
I got the first Visions, I got a camp spot. The only two I could get together was back in the back corner field.
Right. And it was like a hayfield that hadn't been cut yet.
Yeah. And as a spectator, as a paying person coming to visit your park, I would have liked to have, at that time, and that's what I was, I would have liked to have had a better opportunity to have a better spot.
Right.
But when it opened up, that's all I got. That's all that was there. I don't know, just things like that I feel like could have been handled better. Guys, I told you, I've been drinking. This is the first time you've ever seen me do this on this show. I got one on deck over here too, boys. It ain't over yet.
The old saying goes too, it's about location, location, location. I think anybody with good management skills had Mid-America, but in the Tennessee, Kentucky area,
dude,
it would be the Disneyland of off-road.
It would kill. I don't know. The people at Windrock, if you're hearing this, if anybody at Windrock's hearing this, you all making more money than any other off-road park in the country. If you really want to get stupid, put in a pool. Put in a lazy river.
Do a pool in a good concert area.
Yeah.
And I mean, it will. I promise you, if a park like Windrock had something like that, they'd make their money.
it would be so. I mean, just so unreal. Windrock, even like I don't know, Brimstone's kind of a pain in the butt to get in and out of. But yeah, I mean, it was just it was a playground to me. It was a playground, but it was a playground for. It was a playground for him and his family.
Yeah.
I've never seen more VIP areas at an off-road race in my life.
Yeah.
You know, and I've never been to Hammers, so if that's a big thing out there, I don't know. But around here, you want a VIP area, you enter the race.
Yeah. Yeah. Not as VIP as it gets.
Well, you go to the pool and there'd be sections roped off for very important people at the. Yeah. See, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm ranting again. But anywho, so I just feel like a lot of that could have been handled different. Should have been handled different. Some of the other stuff that we're hearing allegedly is that the park could be not in Jason's control anymore. This is coming. It's coming from a source that I trust, but I don't know how reliable it is.
Right.
How reliable his source is. But I'm hearing, that Jason may not even have control of the park anymore, maybe losing control of the park anymore, because it is no secret there's some marital issues going on there. So I'm hearing that maybe she's getting the park and doesn't want it.
Right.
Don't want anything to do with it. And I think that may be why. I think that overall, that may be the big reason why we're not going back. I don't know that. That's just complete speculation. But like from what I understand, what was the MAO short course series, which is pretty much now, I guess, Heartland Racing. From what I understand, is they're paying the park to be able to race there. They're more or less renting, I guess, the park for the weekends that they're there. I don't know. It's just such a mess.
Yeah.
It went from the mecca, or on the verge of being the mecca of off-road motorsports, to being a complete and utter joke.
Right.
And I hate that for the people who maybe did like that place, for the locals out there that didn't have somewhere else to go.
Well, and not only them, and the people that were employed by the park, and it's like, man, there's everybody out there always had a heart of gold. They always went above and beyond to make you feel like to be there, or at least 90% of the people you interacted with. And then there's a few that just couldn't give a shit if you were there or not.
Yeah.
But I just hate it for the the staff that relied on that place for a living, and from what it was and then what it is now. I feel like they could turn around if she decided to keep the park. I feel like there's ways to cut expense, but
they could cut expense, but who knows? I mean, Dan, how much debt is that place in, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I can go ahead and tell you that it's probably not debt free. I mean, I'm sure.
No, it's not. I mean, and okay, so this is completely off topic. There was a post on Facebook. Somebody asked something about a razor the other day, and somebody got on there and was like, well, if you can't pay cash for it, you don't need it. Rich people pay cash for stuff and laugh at people who ask about prices. Horse shit.
Right. Yeah, I disagree with that.
Rich people have more debt than they know what to do with.
Right.
Because if something happens, guess what? Here, take it back.
Right.
They're going to keep their money and make money with their money.
Right.
So that place out there, that it's up to its eyeballs in debt. I mean, they've blacktopped everything, just like they just added on the back farm acres, however many acres that was.
Right.
If he paid for it all out of his pocket, he's crazier than I thought he was.
Yeah, I think he's smarter than that. I think that he's probably got a bunch of different investments, and if you think about that place, just think like Visions. A lot of those campsites were like $1,000, and there were hundreds of campsites last time.
Yeah, I just, man, I hate it because I wanted to like that place, guys. I know I've been down on it ever since this show started, but it's because I wanted to be up on that park. I really did. You know, the first time I went out there, I was excited. I was like, this place is going to be so cool. Yes, I'd love to drive 13 hours out there and go meet people and sell stuff at their park, and it's going to be such a cool experience. And I got out there, and it wasn't horrible. And then between that time and the second time I went, a lot of things changed. And when your first interaction with the park owner, you know, face to face, was the park owner telling you, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't make no money from you. That was my hello to Jason Robinette.
Right.
So if anybody doesn't know the story of why I don't like that park, there you go. That was my hello. So, you know, be what it is. I hate it for the people at the park. I don't hate it for him.
Right.
I hate to be that way, but whatever. It's one of those days. You know?
Oh, yeah. Well, what's the old saying? Karma is best served cold.
Karma is served cold. I don't think we'll have to worry about going back, though. So, I do want to go back at some point and just take a weekend and do some trail riding at Disney.
Yeah.
I would like to go back in a non-competitive aspect.
Right.
And go see what that place is about.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Catch up with Larry, see how he's doing.
Oh, light him up, Larry.
And then, too, if I'm not wrong, I think you've got a free stay at that Airbnb you rented.
Oh yeah, we got the we got the top score on the Pac-Man machine.
Yeah, we got top score on Pac-Man, which should have made you eligible for a free Airbnb.
Oh,
but our old buddy Don Curtis went out there. I don't think it was for BMR. It was a couple of months back, but that was like him and his dad were just playing around on Viagra, and I think he rolled it over on its side, got his first scratches on the new Razor. But he was telling me, although he scratched the Razor up, he did have a good time just trail riding out there.
I'd like to go see it. I mean, I was out there for literally less than 24 hours when I was there, and it was not a fun 24 hours. But I was out there long enough to see it was cool.
Yeah.
And I would like to go back and see that place at some point and spend some time out there. They've got a lot of cool campgrounds and things going on. As long as you're not driving your side by side on this road or, you know, hanging out with the hecklies, you should be good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anywho, so there's my rant about Mid-America. I know people are going to disagree and yada yada yada. There was talking about our buddy Matt. He made a post on Facebook a couple weeks ago that I think upset some people. So if the same people listen to this, they're probably going to be they're not going to be happy. They're more than welcome to come on this show, though. We will have them on, and we will talk about it. If anybody wants to come on and talk about it, we'll come on here, and we'll talk till we can't talk no more. So I don't. There's an open invite for anybody that wants to come on and tell me that our alleged things are completely wrong. We will we'll discuss that. I would like to hear. I mean, I reached out to the park a couple different times trying to get comments about finals, trying to get comments about what's going on at the park, and I got nothing. So they've had their chance, and they can still have their chance if they'd like to come on and talk about it. What else? What do you want to talk about?
Well, we had talked about the getting everything ready for the UTV race coming up in July.
Yes.
Going to be raffling off a set of tires for UTV.
We got Super Grip donated a set of 321014 XTs and a set of beadlocks. We're raffling them off at the store. Rock Life Offroad is $5 a chance, or you get 5 chances for 25. 5 chances for $20. Sorry. And also, what I'm doing, if you hop online, and that's why I'm wearing this shirt. So we've got these. These are our 2023 pit shirts. We've got our 2024s on the way. I know we're late. Whatever. These are our 2023s. We've got these on closeout for everybody that purchases one of these, or if you purchase one of our new Rock Life hats, they're on the website as well. I'm going to put your name in for a free chance on the tires and wheels. So these will be on the YouTube video. Let's see, which side would that be on? It'd be over here. Hit that button over there. That'll take you right to these shirts. The hats are going to be on there too. So if you get on there and purchase one of them while supplies last, you get a free entry into our tire and wheel giveaway. All that money is going to the winner of the July 5th UTV race. Right now, we're at $1,100 guaranteed money. If we get 10, I hope we get 10. If we get 10 chassis at the race, and by chassis, guys, you know what I'm talking about. Let's not try and play games. If we get 10 individual chassis at the race, Dan's throwing in another $500. That's going to take our pot to $1,600 to the winner. And then plus whatever we get for our tires and wheels, which could be, I'm expecting upwards of $1,000 there. So, $2,500 for a county fair race, guys.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. I've been talking to the guys out there. We're going to make a cool little course for everybody. We are going to make it chassis friendly. So I told them to make sure it opened up the turns a little bit for everybody so it wasn't so tight. That way we could get a little speed. So we're working with that. Look forward to seeing everybody out there July the 5th. That's going to start at 7 p.m. There is 4 or 5 different classes running that night. I don't know what time the UTVs will start, but I know we have a stock class, which is like a Jeep class, a modified class, and we have a full tube chassis class for what would be like rock crawlers, rock buggies, fully modified stuff. We have that class, and then there's also going to be what they call the redneck mud bog. Don't know how many classes is going on in that, but that's all the same night. So it's going to be a busy night. We're going to be out there late. It's going to be a lot of running, a lot of action that night. So that's going to be cool. I'll be there. We'll catch it all on camera. Dan's coming to race. I don't know what he's bringing. And I did have some people ask. You can enter as many times as you want. So if Dan wants to bring his full body, he can enter it. If Dan wants to bring the new chassis, he can enter it. If Dan wants to bring the pink buggy, he can enter it. If Dan wants to drive my General, he can enter it. So as long as we have time, they're going to allow people to run as many times as they want in different machines. So that'll be pretty cool. And a machine. So if you drive the blue buggy, and I wanted to enter and drive the blue buggy, I can do that. So it's different people, different machines. You get the gist of it. So our pot could get pretty big.
Right. Yeah, that'd be cool. Bring it on.
Yeah, I did have a couple people ask about that, so I wanted to clarify that. Don't really have any other news coming out of what would be the National Rock Racing Association. Yes, I do. let's touch on this for a minute. Um, our buddy Cash Lecroy
Oh yeah.
went to race. I guess the Champ Offroad. I think's what it
Yeah,
was.
it's in Wisconsin.
Little buddy got out there, got to feeling bad. Me and Paige actually were sitting in the living room the other night, and I said, I think something's wrong with that boy. Like he's sick, and like he's sick enough he don't want to race. Like there's something wrong with him. They ended up having to take him to the hospital. He's got some stuff going on, so we got all kinds of well wishes going towards them. It sounds like he's on the mend, maybe going to get to come home. I hate that for little buddy. We've watched him race since he was a wee tot.
7
7
years old.
7 years old, out there winning National Rock Racing Association events. How's that make you feel, Dan?
Man. Well, I was at their shop a few weeks back, and I like him and I were talking. I was like, man, for you to be so young, before you started short course, he was actually, there's like 5 of us out of all the drivers, but the oldest driver with the National Rock Racing Series.
Yeah, I guess he is, isn't he?
Yeah,
Or
because
would have been.
if you think about it, it's Cash, me, DC, Timmy, and Brandon.
Is it weird to say that you're a veteran, and then also mention Cash's name as a veteran as well?
Yeah, but he was like whooping up on folks when he was 8.
Listen, all you boys out there now running, oh, I got me a podium, got me a win. Cash been doing that since he was 7. Y'all shut up, sit down. Tell you what, I hate the little fellas feeling rough. I hope he gets better. He ain't little no more. I shouldn't say that. I don't know what he's 15, 16.
Yeah, he's like a good solid 2 foot taller than when I seen him.
Yeah, he's getting to be a young adult. He is, but it's been cool watching him grow up through the sport. We've never really been close with him, but I've been around, seen him, talked to him for a long time now. So it's cool to watch him succeed in off-road racing. It's cool to get to see him go win hammers, I think, and do all those things and win his first Nitro Cross event back a while.
Yeah.
And hate that he's sick. Hopefully he'll get on the mend soon and get to go home and get back to being the Cash we all know here soon. Dan, let's get into the rundown for – we didn't talk about it much. We didn't go – I don't know nothing about it. But we do know who finished where. So we'll get into the rundown for the Outlaw off-road race at Sugar Creek.
Yeah. And I may have a little bit of tea on all this.
Oh.
But I don't know. I haven't, like I said, we didn't go, you didn't go. I haven't talked to my source just yet, but I did hear that there was some discrepancies at the West Virginia race.
Surprise, surprise.
And as you know, and I'm not afraid to tell anybody this, but there's been some times, no pun intended, but there's been a few times where the times didn't seem to work out just right. Like, some of our friends keep up with the timing clock, and then the Outlaw staff keeps up with the timing clock, and there would be a discrepancy in timing. But apparently there was something that happened in West Virginia, and that's the reason you didn't see some of the bigger names that you normally see on the podium at Sugar Creek.
Man, I want them to do well.
I do too.
so bad. I really
But
do. But
man, it's just a shame that they can't get their shit together.
yeah, I listen. Me and drinking I shouldn't be on this show, and I'm drinking. I started to tell your story, and I'm not going to. I just wish they would get it together.
Right.
I really do, because I want them to succeed. I want every off-road series to succeed. I want to build our sport up. But I'm also a realist, and I will call bullshit when I see it. And there's too much on the line. There's too much on the line to still be screwing up after this many years.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how long they've been around.
Wow.
But I'm going to say, isn't it about 8 or 10 years?
Yeah, they started out as a different, I think it was ARC.
Okay.
Years ago. Yeah, it started out as that and has morphed into this. And I really want you guys to succeed. If you listen to this, please don't think we're talking shit. We're not.
Constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism. But listen, if it keeps happening, I don't know what to tell you. But we will celebrate our podium finishers nonetheless. So we've got UTV class, youth class, bouncer class, and a Pro-Am. Where you want to start?
Let's go with the Pro-Am.
Pro-Am. We're going to go ahead and go with the top 5. T. Croft was 5th place. Cody McDonald in 4th. Adam Winkle in 2nd. And, I'm sorry, top 4. Adam Winkle in 2nd and Ross Curry in 1st place.
Sweet. What about the youth class?
Youth, I've got the top 3. Joshua Hammett was in 3rd. Dallas Heckley, man, podium after podium after podium. Dallas Heckley in 2nd, and then Caden King in 1st place.
Yeah. Dallas has been on a tear.
Yep.
What about the UTV Unlimited?
UTV class, Riley Pete made it to the 3rd hill. Didn't get to start it. He got a 5th place. OD squared double D. Dylan Dowler in 4th. Josh Krapinski in 3rd place. Nathan King made a return to the podium in 2nd place, and Cody Carlock took the win.
I didn't know who that was. I didn't know if the baby got 1st place or if Cody did. Like, he's on the podium with a baby.
Well, we're going to give it to Cody.
All right. What about the bouncers?
Bouncers, Nick Reich got a podium. 3rd place, Dex Browder got off the internet long enough to come take 2nd. Timmy Cameron was your winner. But big shout out, Little Tim Bacon made a return. 9th place, 1st weekend out in the new buggy. Congrats to those guys. Hopefully they'll get everything lined out over there. Hopefully we'll see everybody at Hawk Pride. Now, we will be back next week for an episode. We're going to talk a little bit about Hawk Pride before we head down there. I've got some stuff in the works for next week. It's kind of cool. So we'll be back next week for Hawk Pride preview, and then I'm headed to Alabama. Dan's already in Alabama. I'm headed down there. We're going to get some footage. May do an episode down there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it all out. Guys, that's it for this episode. If I stay any longer, I'm going to turn into Bert Kreischer, and I'm going to have to take my shirt off because it's 1,643 degrees in here. Bye.
We'll see.
Fuck.
Okay.